Pan is directed by Joe Wright and stars Garrett Hedlund, Rooney Mara, Levi Miller, and Hugh Jackman. It is the kind of origin story of Peter Pan, and the way it tells you his backstory essentially and where he came from and all that good stuff. But it also takes elements of the original story and kind of intertwines them into this movie, and it also steals elements from the movie Hook, which is a superior Peter Pan movie in every way, but we'll get to that later. And that is a kind of, it's a really hard plot, because it steals a lot of elements, but it's never a cohesive whole of what you know to be Peter Pan. It's never that movie that always has a cohesive whole. You never really know what the actual plot is, so it's a little mumbo-jumbo there. But yeah, I was really excited for Pan for a while there, until it got pushed back to October, from, was it July? It was July, and it was opening like the same weekend as Ant-Man, so I guess that makes sense. But Pan, yeah, it's a disaster. Yeah, it's just, no. Okay, first we're gonna get this out of the way. When Blackbeard, played by Hugh Jackman, is introduced, speaking of which, I'll talk about him for a minute here. Hugh Jackman, he's okay. The performances are okay. Nothing really good. Nothing bad, but nothing good. And the way his character is introduced is, he is singing Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana with all these slave people working the mines, and they're trying to get pixie dust, and they're singing Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. Do I have to go on? They sing a couple freaking pop songs in this movie, and rock songs, or whatever you want to call them. And that just shows you how terrible its script is, and how they couldn't come up with any ideas and actually execute them well. Joe Wright directs this movie horribly. I think that's its main problem. The directing and the writing. Those are the two things you had to blame for this movie. Joe Wright and the writer, I forgot his name, but no. Pan has interesting ideas. It has good intentions. It could have been a fantastic, magical movie. It could have been amazing. But everything feels so artificial and green screened, and you can never buy into the world of Neverland, where literally anything could happen. They can have so many good things. It had so many good ideas that came into fruition, and they never used them. They could have acted on these ideas. They could have done these cool things. There is one thing at the very end of the movie that I liked, and that is how they introduced the Lost Boys. Besides that, no good ideas. It's the same rehashed plot of a prophecy and all this bullcrap. And you think the origin story of Peter Pan would be awesome. I would love to see that done right. That would be amazing. But this movie just doesn't do it right. The visuals, some of them are really impressive. I'll get that out of the way. The flying ship and all that fun stuff, that's all cool. That's amazing. That looks fantastic. And there are some CGI backgrounds that work. Green screen. Besides that, there and the CGI crocodile, which is cool. Yeah, this crocodile right here. Yeah, it was probably the same crocodile that was in Peter Pan, but we'll never know, because they don't use these ideas. It doesn't show how Hook lost his hand to Peter Pan and the crocodile. It does not show this crap. It instead wants to set up more sequels in which we can freaking get more. And I just don't like that. Make a good movie on its own so people will actually want to see more. Not, this is the same problem that this year's Fan Four Stick. I'm calling it that because that's what they put on the poster. This is the same thing that happened with Fantastic Four, Fan Four Stick, whatever you want to call it, where they have interesting ideas, they have good intentions, but they don't act on it, and it just ends up being a freaking messy movie with potential. This movie had so much potential. I love Peter Pan. I love the story of Peter Pan. It is amazing. But Pan just doesn't do it right. And we're going to talk about Garrett Hedlund for a moment here as Captain Hook. Alright, so I don't care if Garrett Hedlund's Captain Hook or not. I mean, he was he would have been fine. But he talks like this: "Hey, Peter, let's go find some treasure and stuff." And it sounds so annoying, and you had to deal with that for 2 hours. And all the performances pretty much are really over the top, especially from Hugh Jackman. As I said, he's okay, but and Tiger Lily, played by Rooney Mara, probably the best performance out of everyone in here. Yeah, probably the best performance out of everyone in this movie. This is really sad to say that, because Tiger Lily is Indian, I guess Native American, something like that. I don't know, but and she's played by Rooney Mara, who's a really pale white chick, and I think she's hot, but it's a weird casting choice. But Levi Miller, we're gonna talk about this. He's Peter Pan in this movie, and he tries. He yells a lot, but he tries, and I can give him that. He's okay. But overall, Pan is just a really boring and dull movie. There's so much potential, but it ends up being so stupid with terrible directing and a really rushed plot. So, I do think Pan has good things about it. Some impressive CGI, the performances are okay, and the cinematography is really solid. Like, really solid. It actually looks really cool at times. But it's so uninteresting to the point where I just was bored. It isn't paced horribly, I'll give it that too. But it's just not good. It's so rushed, and it just feels like a big cash grab, and it didn't make barely any money, so it's not going to make its budget back. We're not going to see more Peter Pan movies, and I'm never going to get to really figure out in our generation, we'll never get to find out how Peter and Hook were friends and how they turned against each other. They're friends in this movie, but we don't know what happened. That is the thing that really gets me. It could have shown that part of the story instead of just them battling Blackbeard. Like, it could have been so good, but it decides on making this artificial CGI mess. I'm going to give Pan a D. A D for disaster. This movie sucks. Definitely, it's one of the worst movies I've seen this year, but also, I've seen many terrible movies this year. I mean, not too many, but I mean, I've seen quite a few terrible movies this year, so it won't make my top 10 list. I can already think of 10 movies that are worse than this, but still, it's a terrible movie. Don't see this movie. If you see this movie, I will be disappointed in you. Like, I will legitimately be disappointed in you. It's kind of like a thing with like Pixels and Fantastic Four, where if you see it, I will be disappointed in you. If you like it, I will really be disappointed in you. Because here's the thing with these types of movies: if you like it, usually I'm fine with that. Usually, opinions. Everyone has opinions, but here's the thing with these type of movies: they're such stupid movies. I guess that's kind of word I can use. Where with Fantastic Four, it's just very uneventful and boring, and nothing happens in the movie. This, it is boring and dull, but it always has potential, but never fulfills that potential. And the CGI also, that puts this movie in the dirt for me. But yeah. And then with Pixels, we're gonna talk about Pixels for a second here. With Pixels, it's so idiotic, and no one gives a crap about their project. At least in Pan, they give a crap about their project. I know I'm rambling on for like 5 minutes after my review, but this is my point. I'm tired of these movies making money, because when these movies make money, they get more money in return. They keep making more crap and crap and crap. Luckily, all these movies have flopped so far, so that's great. But yeah, movies like Pixels, it's so stupid and so what's the word? No one cares. I'll put it that way. And at least in Pan, they care. I'm using Pixels as a negative, which it's not as bad as this, but just don't see that movie either. It's weird. I'm talking about Pixels and Fantastic Four in a Pan review. Yeah, I just need to get that out there. Like, this is why I'm mad at people when they like movies like that. That was kind of my point of that. But yeah, so that, that is my overlong review of Pan. So, peace.